Today we're breaking down the brand new online MMO project set in the Horizon universe, Horizon Steel Frontiers. What does this game actually promise? What does the mobile and PC focus really mean? How will the system of creating our own hunter instead of playing as Aloy work? What kind of gameplay loop will the Deadlands region and machine hunting offer? In short, we're going through everything piece by piece, official information, leaks, and rumors that have surfaced so far. But before we dive into the details, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. If you're ready, let's get into it. The moment Horizon Steel Frontiers was announced, two completely different emotions hit me at the same time. On one hand, I got excited thinking, we're returning to the Horizon universe. But on the other hand, I immediately thought, okay, but this time the whole concept is different. Because this isn't a single-player, story-driven RPG like Zero Dawn or Forbidden West. Instead, it's a fully multiplayer-focused MMORPG. And with NCSOF behind the project, while Guerrilla is involved through collaboration and oversight, the brand is still Horizon, but the formula clearly leans toward the MMO side. The official reveal itself was also pretty ambitious. They dropped it as a surprise at G-Star 2025, launched the website at the same time, and released trailers and developer interviews. You know how launches like that usually send a message like this is a serious project? That's exactly the vibe it had. But the real twist is this. Right now, there's no confirmed PlayStation version. The target platforms are listed as mobile, iOS, Android, and PC, with PC especially tied to NCSOF's Purple platform. And that's the detail that instantly stunned people who saw the Horizon name and automatically assumed, great, we'll play it on PS5. For me, personally, I'll say this very clearly, I'm not playing it on mobile. I'm just not someone who plays mobile games, and I've never really had that habit in the past either. So even though the idea of a Horizon MMO is exciting, I don't see myself grinding this game on a phone. But if there's a PC version, that changes things. Because I love the Horizon world. Sometimes I even replay the games just to relax. Fighting those machines, that feeling of hunting massive mechanical creatures, it's still incredibly satisfying. One of the things that makes this game interesting from a lore perspective is that the story keeps the familiar Horizon atmosphere but moves it to a completely new region. There's an area called Deadlands, described in reports as inspired by Arizona and New Mexico. It's positioned as a land of machine hunters. And I think the goal here isn't to tell the legend of a single hero, but to throw large groups of players into that environment's hunting loop. So the wild nature plus dangerous machine ecosystem feeling of Horizon remains, but instead of I'll solve this alone, it becomes more about form a team, choose your target, and go hunting. The game also isn't centered around Aloy. Instead, players will create their own machine hunter character. There's talk about tribal-based traits, appearance customization, and gear combinations, with references to tribes like Nora, Tenakth, Utaru, and Oseram frequently mentioned in early coverage. To me, this positions Steel Frontiers as something like a massive social space inside the Horizon universe, a place to grind, build, develop a role, identity, and participate in constant hunting activities. The story will probably run more like background lore, while the real gameplay revolves around questions like, what are we hunting today? Which machine are we raiding? What gear drops from this fight? From what we've seen so far, the gameplay core is quite clear. Machine hunting and large-scale battles. NCSOF specifically highlights combining Horizon's signature hunting action with MMO systems. That means the tactical hunting feeling from the single-player games should remain, but now built around raid mechanics, team coordination, and repeatable events. Honestly, my favorite part of Horizon has always been figuring out how to take down those giant machines. Finding weak points, choosing the right weapon, striking at the right moment. If they translate that well into an MMO format, it could easily keep me playing for hours. That's why I wasn't surprised when some outlets compared it to Monster Hunter. It's not an official label, nobody's claiming this is Monster Hunter, but the gameplay loop looks similar. Explore the world, track a target, bring down a giant machine with your team, collect rewards and loot, strengthen your build, and move on to the next challenge. If that system works well, it could become my perfect relax and play kind of main game. Jump in for an hour or two, run a raid, do a couple of events, then log off. Though, if it really hooks me, that 1 or 2 hours could easily turn into 3 or 4. And honestly, I'm not unfamiliar with that kind of loop. For example, I used to play Valorant quite a lot for a while, sometimes 3 or 4 hours a day, and it was genuinely fun. But that kind of game depends heavily on the group you play with. Once your friends lose interest, you slowly drift away too. One thing that attracts me about Steel Frontiers is the possibility that, if it's good, it could become something I can enjoy even solo. MMOs are social by nature. But I don't want to be in a situation where I only play if my friends are online. If the gameplay loop works well on its own, I'll happily keep playing alone. However, one critical condition remains. The game must not become repetitive too quickly. The biggest risk in MMOs is that the first 10-20 hours feel amazing, but after doing the same thing for the 1000th time, it becomes automatic and boring. If Steel Frontiers manages to offer even small variations every time I log in, different machine combinations, mission variations, builds that actually change gameplay, bosses with tactical variety, gear that affects playstyle rather than just numbers, then I could sink serious hours into it. Horizon's core action DNA is already fun. Combine that with a solid progression system and it's hard to fail. Another major topic everyone is discussing is the platform situation. Seeing the Horizon name without PlayStation confirmation and with mobile plus PC taking center stage is both risky and strangely intriguing. For me, the line is simple. No mobile, but I'll absolutely give it a chance on PC. While I'm waiting for Horizon 3 like crazy, if Steel Frontiers turns out well, it could give me something to fill that Horizon craving. Even spending time in the universe while waiting for the main series would be nice. Now let's talk about the leaks. This project had already been discussed heavily right before the announcement, with images and even a longer gameplay video circulating online along with the name and platform targets. When the official reveal arrived, it basically confirmed that those leaks were correct about the core elements, the name, genre, and mobile PC focus. That's why when I look at the footage that's out there, I definitely get a pre-alpha vibe. And many sources also emphasize that the shown visuals likely come from an early development stage. Personally, I don't judge games based on early footage. What matters is how the systems feel once everything comes together. Because in MMO development, early footage can often be misleading. Animations may feel stiff, UI might look unfinished, hit feedback might not be fully polished yet. Those things improve over time. What matters to me is whether the game can bring Horizon hunting into an MMO without losing its soul. Horizon isn't just about giant robots. It's about how those robots behave, the rhythm of combat, environmental interaction, using traps, switching weapons at the right moment. If Steel Frontiers preserves that tactical layer while adding team synergy, that's when it truly becomes something special. Character creation and tribal identity will be key here as well. Replacing Aloy with a "you are the hunter" approach is a smart decision because in an MMO, everyone playing as Aloy would be ridiculous. If tribes actually influence gameplay styles, Nora leaning towards stealth and scouting, Tenact feeling like aggressive brawlers, Oseram leaning toward engineering and traps, that's huge potential on paper. But of course, the real question is whether those differences actually affect gameplay. If it ends up just being cosmetic tribe outfits with identical skills, then the whole tribe system becomes decoration. Another big question is the business model. The official materials clearly call it an MMORPG, but pricing details aren't confirmed yet. Despite that, major outlets already refer to it as free-to-play, and the mobile PC focus supports that assumption. Personally, I'm cautious here. Free-to-play doesn't automatically mean bad, but once you combine ASOF's history with a mobile focus, monetization concerns naturally appear in the community. My red line is simple. If the game leans into pay-to-win, where power is sold, then even if the gameplay is great, the experience loses its charm. However, if they keep monetization limited to cosmetics, battle passes, and seasonal content, basically pay to look cool rather than pay to win, then I'd feel much more comfortable playing it. I'm not expecting huge cinematic storytelling from this game. It's an MMO. What I want is a relaxing gameplay loop where I log in, hunt machines, improve my build, and log out satisfied. The key is that the system feels fair and smooth. If it stays fair and the content loop remains engaging, Steel Frontiers could easily become a long-term game for me. Another concrete sign showing the seriousness of the project is that the name Horizon Steel Frontiers appears in a trademark filing under Sony Interactive Entertainment LLC. That doesn't prove every detail about the game, but it clearly shows the name isn't just a temporary code name, it's locked in as an official product identity on Sony's side. That suggests this isn't just a quick spin-off experiment, but a more deliberate brand expansion. Still, the biggest question hanging over everything remains the platform situation. A PlayStation version hasn't been confirmed yet, which is very unusual for the Horizon brand. People are understandably confused because Horizon has always been associated with PlayStation. Personally, I'm not going to start arguments about it. I'll just say this. If the PC version delivers a great experience, I'll play it. But for PlayStation fans, the uncertainty is real, because the franchise's main audience grew up on consoles. That's why this discussion will continue, and depending on how things go, we'll see whether Sony eventually decides to bring a console version into the picture. As for the release date, there's no official day or even window confirmed yet. The communication so far gives a when it's ready kind of vibe. Some sites speculate about late 2026 or early 2027, but those should not be taken as official timelines. In projects like this, early release windows almost always shift. What I'll personally watch for instead are the first beta or closed testing phases, because that's where the real truth of an MMO shows itself. Systems either shine there or fall apart. My personal expectation is simple. As someone who's desperately waiting for Horizon 3, I want this game to give me a way to return to the universe. I won't touch the mobile version at all, but if the PC version delivers solid hunting loops, satisfying combat, and fair progression, I could easily make it part of my daily routine. I might log in for 2 hours and suddenly realize I've been playing for 4, because Horizon's machine battles already provide such an addictive core experience. And honestly, that's where Steel Frontier's success will be decided. Instead of trying to replicate the single-player exploration and cinematic storytelling of the main Horizon games, it should focus on the strongest part of the universe, the hunting experience, and turn that into a social, repeatable spectacle for teams. If they succeed, the game will thrive. But if combat feels shallow, machine hunts turn into simple DPS races, missions fall into repetitive loops, and monetization ruins the balance, then even the Horizon name won't carry it for long. So right now, I'm cautiously excited. I'm watching closely because I love the Horizon universe, and if this game is done right, it could fill a serious gap for me while waiting for the next main entry. But my expectations are clear. Solid mechanics, an engaging content loop, fair monetization, and a hunting experience that truly preserves the spirit of Horizon. If they achieve that, Steel Frontiers could become one of those games I casually jump into and end up spending hours in. If not, well, at least they tried, and we'll keep waiting for Horizon 3. Now, I'm curious about what you think. Does this Horizon MMORPG excite you, or do you feel Horizon should remain a single-player experience? Write your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more videos like this about upcoming games and industry news, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.